Nicole, business owners and managers spend a lot of time trying to help people improve, coach them, they train them, they encourage them, have the same conversation repeatedly. But sometimes nothing changes till there's real pressure. Final warning, lost customer, miscommission,
Mhm.
maybe even losing their job. So, my question today is very simple. Can you help somebody who doesn't believe they need help?
The short answer is generally no. Um, and I think it's a question of, do they believe they don't need help or do they not want help? Because most people don't actually want help because
Oh,
they like, I'm going to show you, I'm going to do it myself.
ooh, okay. So it becomes a, I don't want to say ego, but
Not necessarily ego. It becomes, maybe it's a confidence thing, maybe it's a like, I'll prove you wrong thing. There's a whole lot of different things that come to that it could be and that come to mind. But basically, if somebody doesn't want help, you can't help them.
so oh, it's okay, okay, got you. So how do you think then somebody like an employee recognizes they need help? Like, does it have to be the building is burning down type of thing?
Well, often people have to hit absolute rock bottom before they realize they need help,
Okay, fair
or
enough.
they realize they have to take help.
Mm.
But the average person doesn't want help.
Do you think that it's because people believe in they doing something wrong or there's something wrong with
No,
them?
well, it goes back to the school system.
Yep.
If you ask for help
What's wrong with you?
with your friends at school, you get accused of cheating. If you ask for help, you get made fun of. If you ask for help, yeah, what's wrong with you? Why didn't you listen? Yeah, all of those things. So it's, society teaches us that it's wrong to ask for help and it's wrong to collaborate and it's wrong to get advice from others.
Mm, it's true.
And that's our school system. So people come out of school and they're like, I'm going to show you, because
Mm,
that's what they've been conditioned. However, you know, in my experience, people that are like, I'll show you, I'm going to do it myself, generally, those are the people that end up getting fired and they end up getting replaced.
mm.
And those are the people that are going to be replaced by AI, unfortunately.
Yeah. So you said that it's a part of it comes from this like school system and school conditioning, right?
Hmm.
So we do you think that we kind of people operate in that sense of help, asking for help? You have that fear of I'm going to be criticized or I'm going to be judged,
Well, I'm going to be something.
and I'm not
It
going to get
might
the
be
help.
I'm an idiot. I don't want to appear like I'm a fool. I don't want to
Mm,
appear like a failure. So I'm not going to ask for help.
mm. That's a tough one. That's like how do you move, especially in the workplace? How do you move like that?
Or you can't.
Mm, stay stuck.
Well, people stay stuck. And I mean, in terms of in our world, one of the things is we, when somebody comes and works for us and they apply for a job here, one of the conditions is they have to get monthly processing.
Hmm.
And there's a reason for that. Is it's to deal with the things that you can't do. And if you are not willing to ask for help, that's what you need to, that's what you should be working on.
Junior process. Mm, yeah, people. A lot of people actually. I mean, I think just my take. I think asking for help is it's a tough thing to do.
Or it's, you don't want to look like you don't know what you're doing. You don't want to look like, you're an idiot or a failure or all these different things. And it's like, I'll show you, I'll prove it.
Mm. So, do you think then we now move into that space where, so if I've tried to help you, I've tried encouraging you, I've tried motivating you, the only way I'm thinking now as a manager is I've got to move to that next level. Here's your first warning. Create that pressure.
So I guess it's different situations have different ways of handling things. But I think the biggest thing is you got to ask that person, what help do you need?
Mm,
And you got to go about it in the right way. And that person's either going to be receptive to it or they're not.
okay.
Okay, so um, and that's a choice.
Mm,
Um, and this is where I think it's so important. You can always teach people things they don't know, but you can't change their attitude.
yeah. Yeah. Mm,
And that's a big thing. And it's like I see it in terms of even processing. I mean, that there are certain things that that the client needs to work on. And if the client's not willing or they're not capable of putting their attention on that area, there's nothing you can do.
you can't force them.
No.
Mm. Could you bring it to, can you, in like in that scenario, the processing scenario, can you bring it to their attention? Can you bring it up?
After a period of time,
So you, I mean, that's now your judgment, right? As the processor, you have to judge how long it's gonna, how long I've been doing this, and I'm like, I can see the issue.
so it's is and this is where is the person ready to handle what the issue is? And most people are not ready to handle it.
Mm. I mean, and then yeah, that's a great example because you then just transfer that into the workplace. I'm not ready to handle being told, look, you're not performing. But I'm showing up every day though. What do you mean I'm not performing?
I, I guess, and this is where it's so challenging is what do you determine performing?
Oh, because I have a different perception of performing and you have a different perception of performing.
Well, for me, performing is results.
Yeah.
So, and in most businesses, results generally relate to finances.
Yeah.
So if you take anything in your business, where is it generating income?
Mm, okay.
So if it's not generating any form of income, there's a problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'll use the example Barry's books. For example, if we don't sell books, they don't generate income.
They're just books.
They're just books.
Yeah.
So we have to, as much as we have books, but if we don't sell them, it's a cost to the business.
Mm, they're just sitting there.
And they're just sitting there.
Mm,
And then, I see this often in businesses, and I mean, Barry can also attest to this. You'll go into, especially product businesses that have a lot of products. So, like for example, a sports store, you'll go in and they'll have in the back end, they'll have boxes and boxes of stuff that's sort of, I don't know, t-shirts that are 5 years old.
mm.
And you're like, get rid of it. And they're like, no, but it cost us this much.
Yeah. You spend money on it.
I get you spent money on it, but it's been the space that it's taking in your warehouse for the last 5 years is storage space, and either give it away to charity or put it on a sale bin or do a charity drive or something to get rid of it so it cleans up space in your warehouse.
Yeah. Find a way to make it conducive.
And stop sitting on stock, because I don't think people realize how much attention that stock ties up. Because, for example, every time you do a stock take, you've got to count those boxes that have been sitting in your
Oh,
stock for the last 5 years.
Here's these 5,000 t-shirts again.
Correct.
Mm,
And you got to be counting them and account for them instead of making the decision. How much time does it take somebody to count those 5,000 t-shirts? How much time does it take, to load it on the system, to check it, to double check it, all those kind of things? And that's where it is. It's understanding that sometimes you've got to not just unpack stuff and shift stuff around.
mhm,
You got to clean it up and get rid of it.
mm. clean up your space, to make space for new things.
And it's the same, with mindset, is that you have to, most people unpack and repack to create more space.
Okay.
So if you take a warehouse, for
Mhm.
example, oh, we don't have enough space in the warehouse. Okay, well, let's unpack everything and repack it and make it.
Let's create space.
Let's create space.
Mm.
Okay, instead of what can we get rid of? How do we get rid of it?
Oh.
And for whatever people hang on to stuff, like in terms of t-shirts, yeah, but those t-shirts were for this event and that event was like so special. And we hang on to stuff for emotional reasons instead of, no, it is cluttering up your space. The mind is no different. People hang on to stuff and they just move it around.
Mm.
They unpack and repack. The stuff's still there.
You just shift it to a new corner.
They just shift it to a different corner so it looks better. And that is where, in terms of people don't want help, because I don't actually want to get rid of my t-shirts.
What an example. That's a great analogy, actually.
And that's what happens in our brain, is I actually don't want to get rid of that because it's served me well, or it was a good thing. And it's not to say it was or it wasn't. So yes, it's a good thing, but it's not serving you now.
The good thing happened. It's past.
It's past, but now it's time to get rid of it.
Take a picture of it.
Correct. And that's where I think it's so hard for people to let go of things, whether it's physical or emotional. It's challenging.
Yeah, that is so
And
true.
I mean, you would know yourself.
Mhm.
It's how often have you put off processing sessions?
Often.
How often have you not processed for like 6 months?
Yeah.
Even though it is a requirement, we can't force you to do it. You still have to take
to show up.
responsibility. You still have to show up.
Yeah.
And like the question is, what are you avoiding?
Yeah,
or what are you hiding, or what do you not want to deal with? Or but it is that, well, and a lot of times it's, I'm going to do it my way.
Yeah. I'm gonna figure this thing out. I know what I'm doing.
I know what I'm doing. I'm going to figure it out. Well, guess what? You haven't figured it out in the last 40 years. So what makes you think the next 40 is going to be any different?
Because I read something online and said I can do it differently. That becomes the problem, right? Is that we, even that is such a great example, because I think that we do, I speak for myself, sorry, I'm not speaking for you guys. I do that as well. When there's moments where I'm like, I don't want to go into session for this one. This is I need to avoid this for as long as I possibly can. I'm going to figure it out. It will all come together.
It'll all come together. I'll work it out. And we get very creative and we do these wonderful things. Like we forget and we take headache tablets and we, I don't know, run late and we get all creative and we do all these wonderful, amazing things just to avoid cleaning up our stuff and not just unpacking it, but actually cleaning it out.
Yeah.
And throwing
Getting
stuff
rid of
away.
it.
Getting rid of it.
And I just thought about how that even happens with like meetings. There's stuff that I know that I haven't delivered on, so I'm gonna run late for the meeting. How close can I get to missing my part of that meeting, right? And I feel like it must happen with a lot of people. That this was not just it's not just me, because you want to avoid those things. And if I do show up, I get asked, "Do you need help with this?" And I know I need help. I'm gonna tell you I need help because I'm gonna figure it out.
I know what I'm doing. And that's where people get super, I say, threatened, upset, disappointed. Instead of saying, this is what I need, this is what I want, this is what it's going to cost, people go, I'll work it out by myself.
I'll figure it out.
I'll figure it out. Or I want to use X to do that.
Yeah.
Or I want to use this person. So come hell or high water, I don't care what happens. I make sure that Sully is going to do, my website. And they get so stuck on, I need this person to help me, or I need this thing or this program or whatever it is. And then they lose sight of the actual outcome. And the outcome is you're supposed to deliver X.
Yeah.
You're supposed to have this finished, or you're supposed to have that finished. And people go, well, it's not my fault.
No.
No,
None of it's my fault.
because you said I had to, do this. So my attention was on that. And in actual reality, they didn't deliver on anything.
That makes it a lot. And then this is the next part I want to flip it into, because I actually realized that these two things go well together. And I wanted to find out if you hear this a lot in terms of what you do as a processor. I work well under pressure, though.
That's such a and it goes back to our school system.
I love that sigh. When that sigh comes, I
That
know.
it is so much based on our school system. Because what does our school system teach? If you cram
Yeah. 1 week before.
1 week before exams, you will pass.
Yes.
And that is why people work well under pressure, because they have been conditioned to work well under pressure. Instead of actually looking at it from the point of view of my most creative application, or my most productive, or when I'm most in flow is X. They just go with, I work well under pressure. Well, yes, because that's what you've been conditioned to do. And that's also, lastminute.com. And so you just do the bare minimum. And most people don't even realize that they're just doing the bare minimum.
Yeah.
But that's literally what lands up happening.
So it's almost like, would you say you've become conditioned to be dependent on, let's call it a crisis, right?
Correct.
I have an exam in a week. I haven't been paying attention for the whole year. I'm at the end of the year and you pass this damn exam. Let me cram in what I can. And I would, like you said, I'm going to get 50% because that's going to get me the pass. I'm not here to get 100. I'm not here to be a top student.
Correct.
And you go and you apply that to work. You leave work. You leave school, go into work.
But also, the school system teaches us that you show up for a year and you only have to work for a week. Okay.
Yeah.
And that is what employees do. They show up for the year. They wait until there's heat and pressure of you're going to get fired, and then they work for a week. And then heat and pressure's off, and then they go, oh, cool.
Back to it.
And they go back to just showing up. And unfortunately, that is a trend worldwide of how the school system teaches employees to behave.
Yeah. And then you have the manager or the business owner sitting there going, you did so well for this week.
Why can't you do that all the time?
Well,
how many of you have heard that from school?
Yeah. Oh, man. That was my favorite one.
Why don't you do this all the time?
How come you can't get 80 all the time? I don't want to.
Correct.
I don't even like this subject. I actually just did that because I needed to get you off my back.
Or I did it because, the teacher, I liked the teacher. Or I did it because, my friend was doing it. Or I did it because whatever. But, and it's not my fault that the teacher changed halfway through the year and this new teacher's crap.
Yeah. Don't like her.
She doesn't like me. So I like, why must I perform for her? And that's what's happening in the workplace.
Yeah.
You suddenly get a new manager.
Ooh.
I don't like my new manager, so I'm not like, stuff you. I'm not going to perform.
I'm going to show you. And then you're going to look bad as a manager because you can't manage me.
Correct. And then it's going to be your problem.
One of us is getting fired. It might not be me.
No, definitely. Look, are you nuts? There's nothing wrong with me.
You're a bad manager, and I can prove it.
Yes. And that's what happens is people go to war with the wrong things.
Yeah.
Oof. And people also don't look at the bigger picture.
Yeah.
And so it's just, it's so important to be able to look at the bigger picture. And I think, that's where I say, what are the results you're supposed to be creating? And, in terms of, I don't know, like often in business, what happens is employees don't see what's actually going on with finances and things like that.
Yeah.
So they just expect, well, you should get paid and you should pay my friend too. And suddenly what happens? Someone resigns and then employees are going, yeah, but we need a new manager. And then like, how come you haven't employed it? Like, you've had 3 months to employ a new manager and you haven't. What's the problem? Well, I'm not going to work now because I have no idea that, in terms of, I don't know, something happened and they still have to keep paying that manager for 3 months.
Yeah.
After the guys left. And then they can't afford
to bring in, paying double salary.
And pay double salary for 2 months.
That's true.
And employees don't look at it like that. They don't go, well, how's that possible? Like, you would never do that for me. But no,
you don't know what happened.
You don't know what happened.
You don't know what the agreement was. You don't know how this works.
You don't know how this works. You don't know the agreement. You don't know anything. So it's a case of, are you actually taking time to see different viewpoints? And maybe that the reason why they're not employing somebody is because they're still paying the old guy.
Yeah, that's very true.
And instead of you getting all hissy and pissed off about it, like, what are you actually doing about it? Are you like, okay, cool, let's perform, and I'm going to put myself into
that role,
in a position where I can be in that role.
I think people don't. You're so right. Just by also my general belief, I don't think people look at things like that because, and then they ask that question of, how come I'm not getting promoted? I've been here for 5 years. Why am I not? Because you've been doing the bare minimum for 5 years. That's why I'm bringing outside people to come and manage you, because you do the bare minimum consistently, and that's ludicrous to me.
Correct. And that's the problem, is that people do that. And I mean, you see it with sales reps. I mean, they do the bare minimum until they get warned, and then nothing is better than, if you want to go and buy a car, do it at month end. And I can guarantee you will know which sales reps have not made budget for the month because they are desperate. I mean, Barry and I laughed so much because we were looking at buying a vehicle, and I'd been to a number of different places to test drive cars and what have you. And, just most places weren't really that interested in helping us. And then we arrived at this one particular lot or whatever, and the guy runs out to meet us. And he's like, okay, so what car do you like? And then he's like, so how do we make this happen for you today?
Today?
Like, how can I help you? Like, let's make this happen like super quick within the next 2 days.
What?
And I'm like,
Dude,
I don't understand. Like, everywhere else I've been, like, no one's really been that interested. And now this guy's like
super helpful,
super over the top interested, and like, I'm not even sure that I actually want this car. And this guy's going, yeah, let's make it happen for you today. And I'm like, And of course, when he got out the car, Barry says to me, can you smell the desperation? And I was like, oh, that's what it is. And it's like, oh, all the other places I've been, it hasn't been month end. So, and you just like, you see that desperation. But how do you blame people for that? Because that's our school system.
Yeah.
That's what our school system teaches. Just cram in the last week. And, when I look back, there was only, out of all the different car places I went to, I think there was only one guy that actually took my details and followed up with me once a month for 3 months.
Wow.
With a phone call.
Not chasing you, not desperate.
Not desperate. Hey, how you going with your car? Have you found anything? Have you found what you're looking? If you need any help, let me know. And are you still interested in this brand, or have you made a decision on a different brand? And I was like, yeah, I'm not sure that your brand is the one I want to go with. And he's like, well, would you like me to follow up with you in the next week or so? I was like, yeah, sure.
Mm.
But that's very different to somebody that's like,
Just get this done in the next 2 days.
yeah.
What are you doing? Buy my product. You know what the funny thing is? I don't think a lot of business owners realize that that's happening way too often in their businesses, where their sales reps are going, you need to buy my product. You need, because they're not doing what they one, and something we talk about a lot here. You don't have a process that you guys are following monthly, like every single day, not monthly, sorry, that you're not following every day. That's why you get to last week or 2 weeks of the month, and now you need to run. You need to run fast.
And you bring up such a great point around processes, because I know that in our business, since we started driving processes, and like that has turned up a lot of heat and pressure.
Big time.
And, I say it's been challenging because it's turned up a lot of heat and pressure, but now you're starting to see where all the cracks are.
Mm. And I think I'm starting to realize, because I think so. This is my understanding of it, right? The way we were talking about pressure before, very different. That's like 1 week. I need to push pressure. You know what I mean? I feel like the heat and pressure with implementing processes is different, because it's something we've not done before. I can speak for myself. I've not done a process, not ran with the process, not sat with the process. So it's this completely unknown thing. So it's like I don't necessarily know what I'm doing with it and how to follow it regularly.
And that is the challenge with processes, is because when you put a process in place, you're taking stuff out of your head and you're making sure that people do the things that need to be done.
Mm.
You're not limiting people in terms of their creativity, but you are making sure that, if I use the example of, I don't know, call sheets, you have a weekly planner,
Mm-hmm.
right? Are you planning your week as to where you're going to make your calls, how you're going to make your calls, who you're going to make your calls to? And that's something that, as a process, it's in the start of our process, our sales process,
Mm.
is having a weekly planner that you set up on a Friday, so that come Monday, you know who you're phoning, where you're going, what you're doing, how much time you have, are you doing training? Are you not doing training? Where are you going to fit everything in? And, if you're doing cold calling, are you going to see clients in a certain area? Or if you've got meetings set up, can you cold call in that area? And a lot of people don't think like that. They go, oh, I've got a client to see. They'll drive to Pretoria, then they'll come back to the office and go, right, I wonder, who am I going to call?
Mm. What's next? What am I doing?
What am I doing? And they don't look at it from the point of view, they can go to Pretoria, see that client, and then that client is in I don't know, one of those sort of complexes,
Business
a
complex.
business complex. They can go and call in at 5 or 6 different places in a business complex that they would not normally be able to get into because of security.
Fair point. Fair point. Yeah.
And
You already had the meeting.
you already have the meeting. Go and see 5 people, and the security guard comes and kicks you out. Cool, you've already got 5. Then you can go back and like, okay, cool, let's set up a meeting. But you've got their details. You've got, or even, are you making a note of all the businesses in that? You already have a client in that complex.
Mm.
Are you like taking like pictures of all the signs there,
Mm.
coming back to the office and then phoning all those people and saying, I was just in the area. I saw, you do X, Y, and Z. What could I drop past and give you a book? Or could I drop past and give you a sample product? Or could I drop past and give you, this? Most people don't think like
No.
that. And so that's where the weekly planner is so important, because you're teaching people to do that. Now that turns up heat and pressure, because people go, but now you're just tracking my number. You just want to know where I am and what I'm doing. You just want to see. No, we're trying to help you get better.
Mm.
And that's the difference. It's a different type of heat and pressure when people start following systems,
Yeah,
because
true.
they don't necessarily like following systems, because again, you had a school system. You've most people have had a lot of systems in their life that they didn't like. And so this is where it's so important in terms of systems. Systems create heat and pressure, but systems also you will start to see who is performing and who is not performing and who is just bullshitting.
Mm.
I mean, we've seen it in our business.
Lived it.
And
Lived it.
just in terms of we have those systems, drive the system, and you will start to see what people are actually doing.
Mm.
And like in our experience, most businesses are not driving systems, therefore they have no idea what people are doing. And then it's challenging to get rid of them because you can't hold them to a system. You've got nothing to hold them to.
Mm.
So put in a system, hold them to the system. If they don't follow the system, then you got grounds for dismissal.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, that's
Or if they are following the system, then it's easy to spot what they're
bullshitting.
fudging.
You know the funny thing about processes, for me, when we first started it. So I'm going to go to when we first started, not when we started. Well, but not when I started doing it. I was thinking to myself, I'm basically being put in a box,
Correct.
right? I can't be my creative, spontaneous self. I'm going to be put in a box. But actually not realizing by saying that I'm actually putting myself in a box already. I'm in a box. I'm in a spontaneous, this is what I do, creative box. It's actually not that. It's not a box. It's a system that helps you create the box.
But it's a system that helps you get better.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people miss is systems are there for you to track, record, measure, and find out what works and find out what doesn't work. If you don't know what works, how can you improve? And something as simple as your system is, do you get 3 quotes before you order something? That is not putting people in a box in terms of their creativity.
Yeah.
That is just get 3 quotes and find out, are you on track? Is that person out the ballpark? In terms of, I mean, we saw it. I mean, I asked you to get quotes on something like in terms of a technology partner. And there weren't 3 quotes that were received. And what happened is that person went with, my boyfriend works at this place. And suddenly
It's like,
we're being charged something ridiculous because the system wasn't followed of get 3 quotes.
yeah.
Because now I'm going to buy it from my boyfriend gets benefit. So I'm going to buy it from him.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to, my uncle does this. So I'm going to do it with my uncle.
I'm gonna get a better deal. You actually don't know that.
But if you don't get 3 quotes, how do you know you're getting a better deal? And then how do you prove that you weren't biased or you weren't, I don't know, whatever else it was? And that's where systems are so important. Get 3 quotes.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just gonna oh yeah, what I was gonna say is why they're also important. So I feel like people believe, and I'll use myself for example, and you actually said it. It's you want to track what I'm doing, you want to track my time, you basically want to track me. But that's actually not what it is. It's a benefit for both parties, the employee and the employer. Because
Correct.
so as the employee, I can come and say, Nicole, this is not working. Okay, Sudi, why is it not working? Okay, so I followed the process, and I'm seeing here, this is where we're having an issue. So this need versus me coming and saying, Nicole, it's not working. Sudi, why is it not working? It's just not working.
But also, it's a protection for both parties because if you put in a system and you're supposed to spend 3 hours on something and you're spending 10 hours, the system says you should only be spending 3. What is taking you 10? Now, somewhere there's an issue. Now, is the issue you? Is the issue what you're working on? Is the issue X? And that's where it's so important to understand systems are there to help everybody, including the business and the employee, get better. And systems are there to help people. And that is why there is often so much pushback on systems, because people don't want to be helped.
That is true. Because, yeah, the system removes the human in a sense. Or the process removes you having to help me. You'll help me when if I've went through the process thoroughly 10, 20, 30 times in terms of implementing it. Now you can help me.
Correct, because now I can show you where you're going wrong. I can show you what you need to get better at, but people don't want help. So I'm not going to follow the system, and I'm just going to do it myself because I know what I'm doing. I'll show you that my system is better. I'll show you that, I know more than you. And that's something that, we see it time and time again. People come out of school and they just want to, like, I'm going to show you, and they're not going to follow the system. And I'm going to say that it probably 1 out of 100 probably gets it right. It's probably not even 1 in 100. It's probably 1 in 1,000 gets it right.
What?
In terms of not following a system.
Oh, no. Yeah. Oh, yes, for sure.
You're gonna have that one person that is a one-hit wonder on YouTube.
Yeah. It happens by lightning in a bottle moments.
And that's, when you look at it, it's just understanding that the greatest gift you can give yourself is come in, follow the system, learn the system, and then when you know the system, then you have the right to change the system. And I just look at, you take finances, for example. Everybody's like, I'm going to get rich. I'm going to show you. I'm going to do it on my own. My way's better. I'm going to show you. And guess what? Where are you? How quickly did you save your last million?
Yeah.
How much debt are you in? How many properties do you own? Like, and most people are going, no, I'm going to show you. And suddenly they're 35, 40, and they've got nothing to show for it. They don't even have a property in their name, or they don't have anything. And people that are trying to help them go, yes, but if you do this, you could do this. Why don't we help you do this? And they're like, no, I'm going to show you. I'm going to forge my own path. I'm going to do it my way. Well, how's your way going? No, it's going great.
I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you the truth.
Of course, I'm not going to tell you the truth. Of course, I'm not going to tell you that it sucks. Because I'm going to do it my way.
Yeah.
And most people, my way sucks.
Oh, they don't even have a way. They just kind of stumble along.
That's it, exactly.
They don't have a process or a system of how they do it, right? And I think that's just, for me, for example, something I'm discovering truthfully is even to, like, the path to create wealth, whatever that is for you, whatever your number is. I'm not going to determine that for anybody, but there's actually a process and a system to do it. It doesn't just happen by chance. I mean, it might, like your rich uncle dies and leaves you a bunch of money. That's by chance.
Yes, but how many people actually keep the rich uncle's money?
Keep it? No, none. I never had the money. Now what do you mean? I'm rich now. I'm filthy rich. I'm gonna buy all the things I've never had.
Yeah, and then what?
Then the money's gone. Go.
Correct. And that's the problem, is most people don't actually learn about money. They don't understand it, and they don't want help because I don't want to tell you how much I don't have.
Or how much I don't know.
Correct. And so it goes back to that question of, can you help somebody who doesn't want help, or who doesn't believe they need help, or who, whatever it is. Unless people realize they need help, it is impossible to help them. And it's, I'm going to show you my way.
My way is going to be the best way ever.
I get that you're super wealthy, and I get that you own 4 houses, and I get that you drive a fancy car, but I'm still going to do it my way.
Yeah. I don't want your car. I don't want your house. I want my way.
I'm going
to find
do
every
it.
pushback.
my way,
Mm,
and it's it's so challenging, and that's where mindset is so important. Is what are you doing to change your mindset? And Carol Dweck has that book, Mindset. And, do you have a fixed mindset or do you have a growth mindset? And unfortunately, the average person has a very fixed mindset of, I know better.
yeah, I would agree with that. No matter what, I don't care what people say. You can tell me you have a growth mindset as much as you want. I think most people have a fixed mindset. This is what it is. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it my way. Growth mindset, that's not a growth mindset. Very honestly, it's just not.
And it's just understanding that, people think a fixed mindset means I've got to be creative.
No.
It is not that at all. So a growth mindset is, what are you willing to learn?
Mm,
What are you willing to let go of? What are you willing to acknowledge that you don't know? What are you willing?
mm. Because I think like what you said in the start of it, right? Having a, I mean, you didn't say this, but my understanding now, like having a growth mindset is being able to let go of the clutter in your brain to allow you to grow. A fixed mindset is you holding on to said clutter
Mhm.
for whatever the reason that it's serving you.
And I mean, we see it in our business. I mean, we would be stupid in our business to believe that we know everything.
Really? He doesn't know everything.
No.
Oh.
And we would be like, and I think that's where, we see it so often, is you have these trainers that train stuff and they're not doing it.
Oh,
And if we as a business go into entrepreneurial businesses and help them, it is important that we do the same
it is. It
and
is.
that we bring people in to help us. Because one thing I know is that when you are in something, it's like a plane in the clouds.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in the clouds, you can't see which way is up.
No.
But the person sitting on the ground watching the radar
Can see, no.
and who's looking and can see the clouds can tell you, fly left,
Mm.
fly right, fly up, fly down,
Can guide you.
and they can guide you. And sometimes it's understanding that when you are in it, you cannot see everything.
Yeah.
And that's where the different viewpoints come in around, do you actually understand the bigger picture?
Mm. Do you want to understand the bigger picture?
Well, most people don't, unfortunately,
No. No.
because
No.
they're focused on.
Any final thoughts before we wrap this up?
It's always just fascinating because there's so much help out there and there's so much knowledge, and we live today in the world where there is more knowledge than ever.
Yeah.
And it just becomes a question of, who are you actually getting your knowledge from?
Mm.
And what is the context around that knowledge? Because if you are Googling everything and getting AI and you have no context about it, and you don't put the right context into AI, you're going to get the wrong response.
Yeah. Yeah. What you say there is so valid because so I was looking at the charts, the podcast, Apple podcast charts for South Africa for business podcasts. And I would say about 95% of the top 200 is American in South Africa.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there going, and I'm not saying any of these podcasters are bad or anything like that. That's not the point of what I'm saying. Is that for me, the way I took it was, we are taking knowledge, advice, feedback, not even feedback, but information from American business owners of how to run businesses here.
And some of that is not bad. Some of
Yes.
it is good.
Good. Yeah.
But do you understand the process?
The
Because
context.
I just look at somebody like Tom Wheelwright. He's one of Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad advisors.
Yeah.
And I mean, he'll talk about tax
Mm-hmm.
and people say, you can't do that here. And Tom's will look at them and go, no, you can't do that here. Because Tom understands the value of different countries and what you can and can't do. And
Yes.
most people don't understand that. And if you're taking advice from somebody who has a global perspective, by all means, go and take it.
For sure.
But if you're taking advice from somebody who's giving you tax on American tax laws and you're trying to implement it in South Africa, it's not going to work.
Gonna struggle.
Because
Yeah.
I can tell you now, Home Affairs or SARS and the service level that they deliver is very different to the American Revenue Service and the way they deliver. And just that alone, in terms of, it's very different.
Game changer. We just use the service. That's a great example because the service level is the thing that shifts everything. And now you thought that something that would take you 2 months actually takes you 6 months in South Africa, because in America it takes 2 months. In South Africa it takes 6 months. You didn't understand that because you missed the context. And what you said is right. We're not saying don't take their advice or what they're saying or anything like that. No. But I think just understand where you are getting your help from.
Correct.
What is the context of the help that you are receiving? It's the same thing like Barry likes to say. Why do you take advice from your broke brother-in-law? The context is off.
And also, don't take advice from 10 different people, because if I'm taking fitness advice from my CrossFit coach, from my triathlon coach, from my nutritional coach, from my I don't know, my sister-in-law and somebody else, they're all going to give me 5 different things.
Yeah.
5 different responses. None of them are bad or wrong. And that, it doesn't mean they don't work. But if I've got 5 different answers to, should I be strength training, for example, and my CrossFit coach says yes, and the triathlon coach says no, and the nutritionalist says, well, you're not eating enough protein, so, cut back on your strength training. And then, your sister-in-law's going, no, you're hitting that age where you need to be building muscle. And somebody else is saying, oh, no, you got to be doing this. Well, it's 5 different answers. What am I going to do? I'm going to get so confused.
Probably do nothing.
That I'll end up doing nothing. And that's the problem, is people either don't want help or they get too much information from too many different people and they still do nothing. So it's so important to just be aware of, who are you getting your help from? Where are you getting, and do you actually need it?
Very true. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. This has been the Uncovering Greatness podcast, coming to you from wherever you are in the world. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Join our journey. Get brand new episodes every week from the Uncovering Greatness podcast team. See you guys next week.
Bye.